Wow, that was such an enlightening conversation. You know, it's Suicide Awareness Month again, and we promise every year that we're having this conversation. And honestly, by the end of the month, we're a little tapped out with the whole thing, but we know how incredibly important this topic is right now with what's going on the planet.
Yeah, Shirley was wonderful to talk to, the work she's doing on Suicide Hotline in her practice. And she even has a personal story, which she didn't share this time, but this affects so many families. And what we're learning is time to talk about it. So listen in and take care of yourself.
The world is a lot right now. Are you feeling it? We all need new tools to help us walk through the chaos with grace, ease, and compassion for each other and for ourselves. In this podcast, you'll hear from parents, educators, and other experts who can bring perspective to the monumental job of parenting. It's time to level up and be warriors for our kids and our communities. This is the Warrior Parent Podcast. I'm Marci Mitchell.
And I'm Debbie DeMano. As parents, we understand that it really does take a village to raise our kids. We hope that this podcast serves to create and support that community for you. Join us as we discuss and practice our core tools, which are proven mind-body techniques that can be used by anyone to improve your life on a daily basis.
Hi, podcast family. It's Marci Mitchell from the Warrior Parent Podcast. And I just wanted to give you a bit of a trigger warning for this whole month, the month of September, because as we did last year, we are focusing on suicide awareness and prevention. And so that means there's going to be some tough topics. There's going to be some things that may be triggering for people who have experiences with this or who may be experiencing either their own suicidal ideation right now or someone in their life who's going through it. So I want you to take care of yourselves. I want you to know we're having hard conversations and it's important. And I want you to remember that you can text or call 988 for the suicide hotline. You text, then you will receive someone showing up for you via text. If you call, they're going to answer the phone and they're going to help you. You're not alone. You're never alone. So please take care of yourself. Listen if you feel like this could be helpful. And again, reach out for help. You are not alone. Welcome back to the Warrior Parent Podcast. Today, we are excited to speak with Shirley Shani Ben Zvi, and she is a family therapist in the state of Georgia and a doctoral candidate in marriage and family therapy at National University. She holds a master's degree in marriage and family therapy from North Central University with a specialty in medical family therapy, a certification in thanatology. I forgot to ask her how to pronounce that. Hopefully, was that close, Shirley?
Very close, yes.
Okay. From the Association of Death Education and Counseling, and we're going to find out what that is. And she is a master practitioner of neuro-linguistic programming, also known as NPL. She is extensively trained in solution-focused brief therapy and believes that even when things are not okay, we can be. In fact, we can have the best version of ourselves under any circumstances. She integrates popular culture items such as TV and movie snippets and references to songs in her therapeutic work. And she has a YouTube channel and an ID account and analyzes good representations of grief and mental health issues on TVs and movies. So it's going to be very interesting as we get into this with Shirley. Thanks so much for being here.
Thank you for having me. It's great to be here.
Okay, so where do we begin with this one? She is well-rounded. Let's just start there. But Shirley, a couple of topics that you talked about is number one, suicidal ideation. So we're going to talk a lot about that, and then also you are focused in grief therapy, which is sort of along those lines with the suicidal ideation. That is our focus for the month of September. So it's appropriate that you're here. Shirley, go ahead and start with how you became focused with suicide and this difficult subject.
Almost by accident, I would say. Almost. I saw an ad for a hotline, a crisis hotline, the first ever in the world, by the way, chat-based
Chat-based.
crisis hotline, back in 2000, 2004 in my case, but they started in 2000. And I came for an interview and they said, it's a suicide prevention hotline. Are you okay with that? And I said, yeah. And, it was in 2004. You do the math.
Wow. Wow. Yeah. 20 years.
So I spent 6 years with them doing every possible volunteer job. And then for 2 years, I got a paid job to run the training. So I was in charge of training other volunteers. And I stopped in 2010. And you remember COVID vaguely?
Yeah. Little thing.
Somehow it always comes up in these conversations.
And
Yes.
they posted that they need past volunteers to come back for like 5 months or 6 months, just till they get other people trained. And well, it's been a little longer than 5 months, I think.
Oh,
Wow.
so you're still doing that?
So I went back and I didn't leave.
Yeah.
And they got stuck with me.
Well, lucky
And then I took
them.
everything I learned from them into my practice. So yes, I specialize in grief, but a lot of time what people call about is suicidal ideation. And I take that experience and I'm okay, let's do that because I do know what I'm doing there. So why not utilize it?
So talk about this term, suicidal ideation. It has evolved over time.
Yes.
We use different terms around suicide now, but speak to suicidal ideation, sort of define it, and then maybe how you use it within your practice and in the crisis center.
Right. So suicidal ideation is the very notion that the world will be a better place if I'm not here. As simple as that. Maybe it's better that I'm dead. That's it. That's suicidal ideation. It's not complicated. It's just that.
So it doesn't mean like you have to have a plan or have thought about how this will happen or none of that. It's just simply, I don't feel like I want to be here anymore, or the world's better
maybe
without
it's
me.
better if I'm dead, or maybe it's better for the world. Both end, right?
Yeah.
And it has a spectrum, right? There is passive ideation where people say, well, it won't be so horrible if I die. And to be truthful, and many people get mad at me when I say it, not many people go through life without having that. Even
at some point. Yeah.
Even for a moment, or just, I hate the word normal, so we're going to use common. It is very common.
That's a good word. Yeah.
Right? It is very common. And it's like you you come to a junction in life or something like that, and it crosses your mind, and you're like, maybe I should take a left. No, I'll take a right, or vice versa. And you go on with your life and everything's fine. And it's just a moment. Sometimes it stays longer.
Yeah.
And that's usually when people start seeking help or needing help. Depends on how you see it.
Seems like that's also why when we take away opportunities, we take away things like, not if there's a gun in the house that it's locked up, that like if drugs not available, things that could make someone who's in a bad few moments or having a bad ideation that just dropped in strong, if they don't have means, that maybe you save a life there.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Because,
just one piece of it, but it's one thing you can do, right?
Right. And then if we have passive ideation and it stays longer, then people start seeking help.
Yeah.
If passive becomes active, that's when means and plan and timeline come into action. When someone has means and a plan and an action plan, and I'm going to get back to means in a minute, but when someone has access to means, a plan and a timeline, that's usually is already something that we take a little more seriously. And if the timeline is immediate and there is access immediately, then it's an imminent threat. Like right now, if it's a crisis hotline, I'll do what I need to do to stop it.
Yes.
And that, of course, depends on your state and where you are and all that stuff. We're not going to go into the legality of it.
Yeah.
Sure.
But means create, opportunity creates action. I always say that sentence. Means create, opportunity create action.
Yeah.
And research has shown us time and again and again and again. Like it's so robust, it feels almost ridiculous to repeat. That if we take
do it anyway.
If we take away the means, and people have to start looking for an opportunity, then it's too much trouble.
Yeah, make it hard. Make it hard.
So
don't make it easy.
It hard, and it's been shown not just in research, in practice, over and over again. You build a fence around a Golden Gate.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. it goes all the way back to, I think, the 1960s or 50s in England when they switched from gas to electric stoves, and suicide rates among housewives dropped dramatically
Oh,
Isn't
oh,
that crazy?
oh my goodness.
Yeah.
because that was their popular way.
Yeah.
Wow.
It
Wow.
makes sense. And when you think about the fact that generally when someone has reached that level, that closeness, a lot of times there's a lot of depression. And sometimes when they make the decision, I understand that then people get more energized. They're like, okay, now I've got something I'm going to do. But in general, making it harder can shortcut something because a lot of people just they don't have they're already so heavy that
Mhm.
having to like, oh, okay, I'm going to go to the store, try to buy a gun, or all the things.
Mhm.
Right.
Yeah.
And sometimes it's a boost of a thought, right? Like, I am mad, I'm furious right now. What am I going to do about it? Well, if there is
Mhm.
nothing I can do about it except scream, then I scream. But
Yeah.
hand me a mean and I'll use it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right. Right.
Yeah.
Not just for suicidal
Yeah.
ideation, but just for
Right.
any kind of violence
Yeah.
or yeah. When
Yeah.
we're not acting from our calm centered self, we're not making the
Yeah.
best choices. So not having access to something that's going to make an unpleasant situation tragic.
So
Yeah.
today, we're dropping this sometime in September, but today is Wednesday, August 27th.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm saying this because today there was another school shooting.
Yes.
And it was in a church with a bunch
Mm-hmm.
of little kids. And so I'm trying not to watch the news so much, but this happened. I'm from Minnesota. It happened in Minnesota. And I'm watching and I'm trying to understand what was going on. And essentially, it was a kid. He's 23 years old. And he, all over, his social media says, I've been waiting to do this. And meanwhile, so clearly he's like, I'm not well. I know this is wrong, but I have to do it. But he clearly did it and then killed himself.
Mm-hmm.
And so that we see that over and over and over again. What is this piece of suicidal ideation where they feel the need to take other people's lives as well? Like,
There's a big question for
yeah,
you.
maybe that's unexplainable, but we see
Yeah.
this over and over and over again.
Yeah.
The shooter goes in, they shoot a bunch of people, and then they shoot themselves. Clearly, they know they've already decided to do this for themselves, right? To
I
take
don't know
their own
that
life.
part.
Yeah,
I don't know that part. I don't know
yeah.
what makes
Yeah.
them want to do it to
But
others.
but I think the point is what I'm getting to is, there are states in this United States who are trying their darndest to take what you just said, taking the means
Yeah.
away, which is the gun, because
Right.
clearly this kid, who's just a kid, essentially, he's 23.
Right. Brain's not done cooking.
Nope.
Not
No.
pulling the
Frontal lobe
trigger.
is not there yet.
No,
Yeah.
and so he knew he wasn't well. And
Yes.
some people had to know he wasn't well, but somehow he had three guns with him. How can a person like that, knowing that they're going to hurt themselves, be allowed to have those guns,
Yeah.
right? So you're in
Two,
Georgia. What are the rules in Georgia?
very easy to, it is easier to
Yeah.
get a gun than a mortgage.
Then a
Yeah.
what?
A
A
mortgage.
mortgage.
A
Oh,
mortgage. If you,
Yeah.
I always say people make more sure that you can pay back the money than they do than they make sure that you can just, handle a
That
gun.
right. That you should have access to a weapon
Yeah.
that
You
kills
have to
people.
prove yourself responsible to get a mortgage to get money,
Yeah.
but you
yeah.
don't necessarily have to prove yourself
Drive a
responsible to have a
car. Yeah.
gun. Yeah.
License to get married, like all these things that we put restrictions and checks around, and yet
Accept that. Yes.
our country's
Too
lost their
easy.
mind when it comes to any sort of restriction or control over
Yes.
something so deadly that's
Yes.
designed to kill.
Yes. And
Yeah.
I do know the Second Amendment.
Yeah.
I also know it was
Talks
written in a
about,
time, but I
yeah,
also know that it was written in a time when you had to put powder and push it with a stick and then shoot one bullet and then repeat, rinse and
exactly.
repeat. Nobody even thought about the ability to kill 20 people at once.
No.
Exactly.
Nobody
No.
imagined it when they wrote it. So
Yeah.
Right.
I have
Right.
it
That
written
idea that it's sacrosanct, but that you can't, it can't, like from a time that is, there's not, they kept human beings enslaved. and that was okay. Like, I think we could make some changes, and this whole, but the, you know, the NRA has fed the American people a absolute line of propaganda and bullshit, all in the name of profit, and we seem to have bought it hook, line, and sinker. So what a shame.
And I will say, I know English is my second language, but it's pretty good.
It is good.
To know that that an amendment means you can change things.
Absolutely. That's exactly what it is. It's an amendment.
Yes. Yeah.
Let's amend that amendment. Yes.
Yeah.
I'm just saying that's the whole point.
Yeah.
That is, I agree with you. Like, if we're not going to grow, if we're not going to do better, like this idea that we stick to something just because that's men in tights, you know, 250 years ago said it was a good idea or whatever. Yeah.
But I will say the idea of killing others is homicidal ideation. And I am not usually, I don't usually work with homicidal ideation at all. But I do know the two. Homicidal ideation often comes with suicidal ideation, not necessarily the other way around.
Yeah.
Suicidal ideation shows itself more separately, I think, than homicidal ideation.
Yeah.
I've not heard that term, but wow. Okay. So let's sorry, I had to bring that up. It's
I can spend the next 2 hours just on that.
It's in the front of my mind right now. But you know, let's talk about the other piece of this, the other thing that you have an expertise in, which is the grief counseling, because obviously now with those children who were killed in Minnesota, you know, how do people deal with something like this? Ooh, sorry, I'm being heavy today. I'm full of it.
It's a heavy month. We're focusing
behind me. You see the word behind me on my wall is hope.
Yes.
It's a good word.
And I'm gonna start with suicidal ideation and go up to the grief. Walk it.
Thank you.
First thing about hope is it's a frame. It's a way to look at the world. It's not a feeling. It's not a dream. It's not, everything's going to be okay and unicorns are going to fly above me and drop rainbows. That's not hope. That's delusion. Hope is, I know that despite of everything, I can be my best self. And it's going to be a whole other best self because the world is changed.
Yes.
And it's possible. It's not even a but, it's an and it's possible. And it's going to be someone who carries grief for the rest of my life. It doesn't go away. We don't have the five stages that I can go through linearly. I keep saying the 5 stages don't exist. Right? So you don't go through a linear process step by step.
Right.
Achieve.
And then you're done.
And then you're done. Like graduation.
Unfortunately.
You get a little hat with it. No, it doesn't work this way.
Yeah, you won. You won at grief.
Right, no. But you carry it with you. And you have to become the next best self. That's the hope. And to look at suicide through that lens means people are hoping to unburden loved ones because they think they're a burden, or to ease their own pain, and usually both. Without fail, when I ask someone who has suicidal ideation, what is your best hope in dying? They will give me a beautiful description of a wonderful life, without fail.
Hey, we just wanted to take a quick moment to tell you about something very exciting that Debbie and I and our team have been working on for literally years. And that is our Cour Tools app, which is now available at the Google Play Store and at the Apple Store. And you can sign up for it now and you will get access to all the tools we've been talking about on the podcast.
And if you're an early adopter of Cour Tools, you can get a VIP price for $49 for a lifetime. That's
lifetime.
That's
Buy it once and we'll keep updating it too.
Yes. So we're super excited about this. Go to Apple Store, go to Google Play, and purchase it now.
Cour Tools, COUR, capital TOOLS.
Go get it.
Say more about that.
Wow. Yeah.
If I have the courage, and I happen to have that courage, audacity, depends on who I'm talking to, right? If I have the audacity to say, what is your best hope in dying, in death, they will say, I won't have this pain anymore, or my loved ones won't have to take care of me, or worry about me, or all of of the usually all of the above.
Like it's going to solve
It's going to solve all the problems.
Yeah.
And doesn't that sound a little bit like a different life to you?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Most people want to solve the problem, not to necessarily end a life. They just want something different that they don't think they can have in this life. And
That's
so
profound. That's profound.
Thank you.
They're trying to solve a problem. It's not that they necessarily want to die, that they're just trying to solve this problem. They're trying to fix what's not
Most people don't want to die because you can't want what you don't know. Right. And so you can't want to necessarily die because you don't know what death is. But you do know what your life is like, and you want to stop that.
So how do you unravel that? So someone's telling you about them wanting to, unburden their family. How do you undo that? And of course, you've just probably met this person for 2 minutes on the phone, and you're having to do
on
this
a chat. Yes.
Yes.
I start with a lot of empathy to how much they love these people and care about them. And really,
so you're focusing on that. Like, I can see you really care about them if you're willing to do this.
And I building that. You think that they will be better off without you. And we go from there really, really patiently. And in the back of, when it's a hotline, in the back of my head, I know I always have the option to call emergency services.
Yes.
So I look for, do I need to use it or not? In therapy, it's a little longer process, and I have time to dive into all of the above. But circle back all the way to grief. I am not looking at that and saying, let's solve this, right? Because I can't solve this. I can't change this. So when a parent comes to me, if I had a parent from this shooting, and thank God I don't, but if I did, thank God I don't, because it's fresh for me too. Give me a week. But if someone came to see me after the loss of a child, and I did have someone see me, I do have people see me after losses of children, I am not trying to make it good, because I can't.
Yeah, you can't fix it. Yeah,
I can't fix it. It's not my job, and also I can't.
Yeah.
Right? So considering that you have gone through this profound, unbearable, unimaginable pain, how do we carry this? How do we carry this and make a life that is still okay?
Yeah.
And it takes time.
Yeah, you talk about that, like, when things are really bad, and for a lot of people things feel really, really bad right now.
Right.
How can you show up and still function? I don't know, thrive. I don't know if I dare use that word right now, but right, like how can people do that? I mean, so you must have tools for them.
Yes. And the best one that I always use, I don't dictate coping tools and stuff like that. I let people find their own. But the one thing I tell everybody in my life, in therapy, in everywhere, like broken record, is notice the tiny, small steps that you don't want to notice. When I say change, people imagine big C change, right?
Yeah.
Oh my God. No, sometimes a step forward is to wake up on time, brush your teeth. Wow. Brushing your teeth can be huge, huge. You got out of bed? Congratulations. Yes. And I'm not saying that with sarcasm at all.
No.
I mean it, right?
Yeah.
I had a client, in-home client, open the door in PJs. Just got out of bed because I rang the doorbell. And she's like, look how horrible it is that I just got out of bed because you came. And I said, you still got out of bed and opened the door.
Yeah.
And you have to notice that.
The outside judgments that we put on ourselves sometimes to do what we think we should be doing, what we think others are doing better than us. If we could just take, and we know we can be our own worst critic, but if we could just give ourselves a break. And, I love what I say to my son when he deals with depression often is, gosh, I wish you could just be kinder to yourself. Like that you would never talk to yourself or talk to someone else the way you talk to yourself. You would like just a little compassion, a little, some of that is just our societal way, but we were like raised to be hard on ourselves, to strive and be perfect and do it better. And I'm not saying there's not a place to strive and to learn and to grow, but we just have to be gentle with ourselves too, especially, when we're in grief, but whenever. Everybody needs that, like that's real self-care, I think. Yeah. Being gentle with yourself, giving yourself a break.
And if you look at suicidal ideation through that lens of not giving up or being a selfish person, but trying to achieve that hope of stopping the pain or unburden loved ones.
Yeah.
It's a whole different, you can look at them and not like, oh, you're selfish. Don't be as judgmental and angry.
Right. Not helpful.
That's what I do with that. I
Wow.
look at it like that. And I
Yeah.
ask about it because I'm going to go into a rant here, but our society also shuts down that kind of talk.
Yes.
Yeah.
And if someone talks about their suicidal ideation to anyone, a therapist, a crisis center person, or just a random person in their lives,
Yeah.
but they are open and vulnerable and say it, that's the biggest honor anyone can give you.
Yes.
Absolutely.
And then
And
don't
yet
shy away. Don't
it
shy
scares
away.
people. Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And
Don't
so they
talk like
try to
that.
shut
Oh,
it
great.
down.
Right?
Yeah. Don't say that. Or yeah.
And the right thing to do is, okay, stay calm. You ask me how I do it. I stay calm.
Yes.
You know, there is this stay calm and keep calm and t-shirt, keep calm and keep talking.
Yeah.
Say
Yes.
more. What is it that you do?
Yes.
What is your plan?
Yes.
When did you thought of doing that? How
Yeah.
did you think of doing that? Maybe we can wait a little. You know, as horrible as it may sound, I have told people on that hotline, I have written that line, you can kill yourself any day. Can we just wait a minute? It
Yeah.
sounds horrible.
Woo.
You can cut it out if you want me to.
No,
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 because
no, no.
it's
But I
right
have
on.
said it.
You have to. You have to
Yeah.
be. You have to be tough in that situation. Yeah, it felt like a sucker punch to me for sure. But yeah, for sure, because you're trying to jolt them a little bit, right? You're trying to shake them, and meanwhile, like you said, everyone else has blown them off, but you have to do kind of the tough love thing. Like,
And
I,
sometimes that minute that they wait,
Yeah.
can you wait
Can
till
yeah,
change
tomorrow?
everything.
yes,
Right. Because if you just say, oh, you can't do this, don't like you, then you're not reaching them. They're like, oh, you're not here for me. But if you can say, you can do that later. You can do that tomorrow if you want. Today, let's just talk and let's, like it just gives them without shutting them down, without them being like, oh, great, you're going to try to stop me. Well, you can't stop me. It's my life. We know
Yeah.
that can spiral in a whole different way. But no, I think it's brilliant. I think it's brilliant. And it's what it seems to be about, and what I'm learning, I think, every day, struggling with, but learning that we have to be able to sit in the discomfort of
Mhm.
what is happening. And so someone who is experiencing suicidal ideation, who is having these thoughts, that's very uncomfortable. And to sit with them is uncomfortable, but important to hear them, to see them, to let them talk about it, say more,
Yeah.
let them talk about it and just be there can shift everything.
Mhm.
It's not comfortable and it's not what we're taught. We're taught to fix, to shut down. Oh no, don't say that. Like, and I catch myself with that kind of thing all the time with
yeah.
both of my sons have deal with
Well,
depression and anxiety.
And I'm gonna bust a myth here. We're not gonna give them permission if we talk about it, and we're not gonna give them
Right.
ideas if we talk about it.
Yes.
They already have the idea, and I'm gonna
yeah,
be, I already showed you I have a lot of audacity, a lot of chutzpah come out of my mouth. They don't
Yes.
need your permission.
Right. They
yeah,
already that whole idea that if you say it, if you ask them, and so we've had that training before. We say ask the question. If someone is really seeming depressed, ask that question. Are you thinking of hurting yourself? Are you,
Yeah.
and like you say, it's not going to be like, oh, well, I hadn't thought about that. What a great idea. It's going to be like a burden relieved if it's something that they haven't expressed. And like you said, now they're going to share something so monumental with you. And that
Yeah.
is something you have to hold in a sacred place and be
yeah,
like, let them talk about it. And then of course there's a point where you have to take action. Like you said, you're on the chat and then you're pushing the button for emergency services, or you're, depending on what the situation, you're showing up, you're saying, I'm not leaving you right now, or whatever it is. I'm calling 911, whatever, because you're a professional and you're doing this professionally. A lot of us are not, and we don't have to necessarily know how to do it all and handle it all. It's not that you have to do it yourself, but just to be open, to ask the question, to be willing to sit with it a minute and then get help if you need help is
Right. And there are different ways to talk about it. There is absolutely the way that can increase risk, which is when we talk about it and we idealize it, right? So and so did
mm,
that, and here's what they've done. and we get into the details. And first of all, now you just gave me a recipe. You gave someone a recipe.
Yeah.
But also it becomes like a hero thing to do, like a heroic action.
And that's what
one way
we
to
seem
talk
to be
about it.
seeing with these shootings, is that
Right.
a lot of these are mimicking others.
Yes.
And so, yes, that's a good point to bring up.
So that can be contagious, but it's very
Yeah.
different than tell me about your plan.
Yes.
And it's very different than tell me about where you are and what it is that you're trying to solve through that.
Right.
Yeah.
And then showing empathy, that, oh my God, that must be so hard. I'm so
Right.
sorry you're going through this. That sounds really hard. Like that can be such a turning point for someone, just to have
Yeah.
someone else hear it and show some empathy, that, and they don't feel alone then. They feel seen, and it just, something about that, sharing the burden a little when you're carrying that by yourself, just being able to talk to someone.
Yeah.
We don't realize how, what a gift that can be, just being there, showing up and hearing and listening.
Yeah.
There's
Yeah.
not a lot of that going around, by the way, right now.
Yeah.
Don't
Unfortunately.
get me started.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
No. And I think a lot, we have to say that. And again, you have an editor, but so I'm going to say something with a lot of chutzpah again.
Okay.
Do
You go.
it.
This
We love it.
climate, people, a lot of people feel this climate, this political climate, this social climate doesn't leave them room to exist as who they are.
Mm,
Yes.
yeah.
And
Yeah.
that leads to
There's no
suicidal
space for it. Right.
and then it leads to suicidal ideation, because if I'm not going to be able to exist anyhow, and we have to address it. We have to be
Right.
open about it.
And the answer is not to shut down the suicide lines or LGBTQIA plus lines or any, so not to shut down resources. We need more resources, more
Yes.
empathy, more willingness to see people and to let people be who they are, like you say.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's okay.
Yeah.
And to say, with the fact that this climate is not good for you, how can you still be here and be your best self
Yeah.
so that you can be part of the next change?
Yes. That's a big one for me. You talk about hope, and I'm a big believer in hope. Not so much the verb of like, oh, I hope this happens, I hope that
Yeah.
happens, but the state of being, that knowing there's good coming. We are good. People are mostly good, and that we can bring good. And even in the midst of this hard times, we can have hope for something better. So having that hope that in the midst of this chaos and this violence and anger and shutting down and power over all these paradigms, the belief that they're dying out and that there's something new being born, something better, which is what I believe. That can keep me going, knowing that, ooh, we're in it, it's ugly, and take a breath. Like that's always my go-to tool. Take a breath.
Yes.
And then I love that, what you had said about the finding the small steps. Yeah. You find what you can for inspiration, so you keep going. You don't have to see the whole way there. Let's just take it the next step and take a breath.
Yeah.
And she practices what she's preaching. I'm saying.
So do I.
They call her joyful Marci.
That's what we need.
Yes,
That's what we need. We need people showing up.
And I believe humans are like the phoenixes. Like,
yes,
rising.
And sometimes we gotta go up in fucking flames before we can
Yes.
before we can be reburned. So this is our flame moment.
And I'm Jewish, so it's in my DNA.
Yes.
The phoenix, right?
Yes. Yes. Yeah. Oh my goodness. This has been such a conversation. And even though we're talking about difficult things, Shirley, you're giving me hope, and I'm grateful that you are the voice on that crisis line. And
I type.
Yes.
You're the voice via your fingers.
Yes. You're the texting crisis line. Yes. But thank you. Thank you so much for being here.
Yeah.
Thank you. And thanks for
really
doing what you're
appreciate
doing. It's amazing being able to talk about it so openly and drop bomb once in a while is incredible.
Absolutely. When appropriate. No other word will do. And I do believe we'll need to have you back, because we want to talk more about thanology. Did I say it right?
Thanatology.
Thanatology and all the other things. So,
after the Greek god Thanatos, who was the god of death.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
Peaceful death.
We'll have you back.
Yeah.
We'll have you back. Thank you, Shirley.
Thank you.
Hey, warrior moms. As we started this podcast, we had determined that part of what we were going to do is to create a community. So we have decided to take it to another level, and we have started our own Facebook community in addition to the Warrior Parent podcast, and it's called
From Chaos to Calm, a sanctuary for moms. Here's what it looks like. It's on Facebook right now. Please go and join it. And just to let you know, we're going to create our Blue Sky accounts right now. We're getting prepared as we watch this weird stuff go on in America. So we may be shifting the whole group to Blue Sky. Just be aware that we got you. You're going to start here. If this turns out to be not a safe place anymore on Facebook, then we will shift over. But what we're creating is a safe space where moms can show up and get information, get support, talk to each other about the things you're going through with your kids, the things you went through with your kids, maybe get some advice from moms, but also other experts. We're going to invite all of our guests and experts to join the group. I hope you will too. This is a place where you can show up and be seen and be heard and be safe. Mom's got you.
Nobody Trusts anyone more than moms. So let's do this.
And now for your core mental health break. This is your opportunity to take a moment to support your mental wellness, your peace of mind, your own ease and grace. Take some time every day to support your mental health. You deserve it, and it matters.
Today's journaling prompt is, what I love about myself is. So get out your journal, get out a piece of paper, use your phone, and write those words. What I love about myself is, and then start writing, folks. Don't be modest. This is just for you. This is for you to acknowledge and feel gratitude for the things that you like about yourself. Start where you can, and I encourage you to keep adding and adding. Enjoy your journaling.
Thanks for listening to the Warrior Parent Podcast, which is a production of our nonprofit, Cour Experience, who also creates and distributes Cour tools. You can find us at courexperience.org. Make sure you join us next week for another informative conversation to help you and your family show up mindfully, purposefully, and joyfully with each other and in your community.
Our Cour Tools platform consists of a number of proven tools and techniques that are designed to reduce stress, anxiety, and overwhelm in spite of what's going on in your world. We want to thank Samuel Hale, LLC, for sponsoring this podcast. Technical and marketing support comes from Inspire Your Brand. Our podcast editor is Justin Beeden. Opinions expressed by guests do not necessarily reflect those of the hosts, the producers, or the financial supporters. I'm Debbie DeMano.
And I'm Marci Mitchell. Thanks for listening. If you resonate with the idea of creating a community to help support kids and families, won't you join us by following the podcast and sharing this episode? You can even write a review. It truly does take a village, and we appreciate you.